Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to Studio Central's daily art demonstration at 1 p.m. This is live, so I've just sort of clicked in and just sort of letting people get comfortable. You're probably seeing that little notification above. Click on that, click on this, and come have a little, spend some time with me this afternoon here in my studio. So as people are clicking in, as people are looking into this, I'll just do a basic intro. So my name is James and I work with Studio Central. If you are not familiar with Studio Central, it is a not-for-profit urban art center at 444 Kennedy Street. Normally we are there in person. We have daily art demonstrations at 1 p.m. there. We also have live music. We have a little coffee shop. It's a real community hub for our Central Arts community. It's open to everyone, and we would love to have you there once all of these restrictions are relaxed a bit. So right now with the current restrictions, we are doing online content. So this is an example of something that we would do at Studio Central in person. So I will give you a little rundown of what I'm going to do today. Today we are doing color blocking with acrylic paints. Color blocking, just a sort of a side note before I get into this. I actually pre-recorded an art demonstration for today. I thought, I'll be on top of it. I'll create this, sort of do something a bit more. And anyways, I think I bit off more than I can chew, so I'm not showing what I did in my pre-recorded segment. So we're just gonna be doing a live today. But I'm thankful and happy that you can be here today. I know art itself, one of the things we really believe in is how centering and how relaxing and how peaceful art can be. And when you are expressing who you are, when you are engaging your creativity, it just has a trickle-down effect that is only positive. So art is such a great tool for personal expression and for all of our own personal mental health. It really helps. So today, color blocking in acrylics. I guess before I begin, I just want to give a bit of background about color blocking. So what I've gleaned from things I've looked up, there's the real sort of essential basic quality to color blocking is using a color from the color wheel and then choosing the color that is opposite of it on the color wheel. So sort of two opposing colors and working with them to make them complement each other. So normally, you could pair an orange and a yellow together and there's sort of a real aesthetic appeal to it. So color blocking is taking colors that are opposite of each other and then working with them to create this sort of complementary feel on your canvas. A lot of color blocking is abstract. Probably most famously so is Piet Mondrian. He's a famous Dutch painter. His work is lots of primary colors, that sort of high contrast between reds and yellows, or blues and oranges. He really pushes what color blocking is to this really classic place. If you Google him, Piet Mondrian, you'll instantly recognize his work. So he's sort of a great example of an artist who works with color blocking. Another one who is actually a personal favorite is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right, but Mark Rothko. He's an abstract painter, and they again do lots of color blocking and really big sort of seeing those high reds paired with a green color. So you get that real nice sort of contrast between the two. Yeah, I see see some people are there. Sounds good. What do we need for this exercise? That is next after my little intro. So I will get to that right away. So yeah, so that's sort of the premise, the background to color blocking. So on the color wheel, I have written down a couple examples. How I mean by using those sort of opposite colors. If you look at a color wheel, that classical one that's like a circle, I had one, I lost it, so I've just been Googling it. But so using blue, the opposite of blue would be orange. So if you have a color wheel at home, or if you have a computer to Google, Google in a color that you have or that you like. So say your favorite color is purple, and then say opposite of purple, and then you'll get, this should come up, purple and yellow. Hey, I see Kevin's there too. Hey, how's it going? Good to see you guys. It's really nice to see people who tune in. It's really, I know there's such a strong sense of separation right now. We have such a close-knit community of artists, and it's really nice that we can come to this online platform, and I can kind of see you in the comments, so I appreciate it. But yeah, so color blocking, if you want to follow along, the first step is to pick the colors that you want to work with. So, and again, as an example, if you like purple, the opposite of purple on a color wheel would be yellow. So another example again is this blue. If you like blue, the opposite of blue on a color wheel would be orange. And the third example I have is kind of seasonal and kind of funny, but the opposite of red on the color wheel is boop, green. So you'll be using, pick your colors that you like. I'm going to choose, this is kind of seasonal, I guess, but they're not my favorite colors. Well, no, actually I like green. Okay, we're gonna do red and green. Okay. So the other thing to note when we're working with color blocking, it is a very, I think for today we're gonna be approaching it from a more abstract point of view. So I'm gonna be creating a couple of shapes and then painting with the acrylic paint and these two colors here on this canvas. So today is definitely an abstract approach to painting. So we have our paints. We'll be working with a canvas, and you'll need some brushes if you have. So I just have a variety of brushes today. There's nothing really specific. It depends on the size of the shape that you're working on. You may want to use a bigger brush, or if you're working on a smaller canvas, say something like an 8x10 and using smaller shapes, then you can easily use something like just a small little brush like that. I believe that that's, you can see that there. Okay. Then you also need some water for mixing. So I have a couple of glasses here you can see for mixing. And then what I want to do, one really sort of nice way to approach color blocking is using tape to tape off the shapes on your canvas. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to start, while I'm talking, I'm going to start to just do some taping. So I have this on my, you can see that, everyone? Good. So I may have my back turned to you occasionally. So again, when it comes to abstract painting too, just from personal experience, I find you really, like for today, for example, I don't have like a strong sense of what I'm trying to do shape-wise. So I thought I would just come to the canvas fresh and just start to put some tape on to see what we can do. So I'm going to try doing this. I think because, like, if you look up Piet Mondrian, a lot of his work with color blocking, it's very, there's just some beautiful straight edges, nice clean edges that he really achieves with his work, and it's really, even though he's just working with shapes, just specifically shapes, they look so nice and they look so dense and cool. So I'm going to do, so again, I'm just sort of taking my tape, putting it onto my canvas. So the nice thing about taping is we'll be painting in these spaces here, and then when we're done, we simply pull the tape off and you end up with this nice sort of clean, sharp lines. So I'm going to do this. So because I am working with two colors, I'm going to try to maybe make even numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's kind of cool. You know what? This is good. Let's start here. So I want to keep it also very sort of basic in how to approach this and sort of the effect that we can achieve with this. So I think we had said red and green. So I also have a mixing palette. You can see it is well used. So I'm going to start, since we have two colors, I'm going to start with my let's do red, yeah. So I'm just putting the paint onto my mixing palette, and we're just working with the solid red color. I'm not going to be mixing white or black into it. Because this is a bigger space, what I want to do is I want to use my bigger brush for this. So I'm just going to wet this brush a bit, and then again, thank you for tuning in. If you missed my little introduction, we're just doing some basic color blocking with acrylic painting. So it's just sort of a cool way to play with colors that are opposing on the color wheel, colors that are opposite of each other, and bringing them to the canvas together to create something sort of that you wouldn't expect. So again, the color that is opposite of red is green. So it's funny because it's actually, that's like Christmas is like red and green, so it's kind of like, okay, interesting. So again, we're just working with some nice big shapes today. A big part of approaching something like this for myself personally is because I don't work with color blocking too much. It's a nice way to engage the canvas, and by engaging the canvas, whether you have something really specific in mind or whether you just want to sit down after a long, stressful day, engaging the canvas can really bring us back. So sometimes my head kind of goes here, you know when your head kind of is here, but then it's suddenly over here, and you're like, I don't know how to get that back. For me, sometimes painting is a great way to find that path back. So, okay. So this red is really nice. I said red, but it's actually technically cadmium red medium hue. So cadmium red, definitely a very classic, that's a very classic red. Not quite a primary red, but it is close, I think. It's got the same sort of, you can see how intense this red is. It's a very bright and vibrant red. Again, we're working with acrylic paints. These are Liquitex, but the brand is called Basics. So basically, Basics are the, in quotes, student grade version of Liquitex paint. But honestly, I find you get really well-priced tubes of paint, large, as you can see, for a good price. And I just find that the opacity, the density of the red colors, or of the basic colors it's a very good color to use and to work with. Okay, so basically just using the big brush right now because you have to get a lot of coverage. This is a lot of coverage. So again, whether you're following along exactly or if you're choosing a smaller space to work on and different shapes, the idea is to only work with those two colors that you've picked. So even though I'm working with red and green, maybe you chose like purple and yellow. So when I was actually looking up colors today, I actually looked up the opposite of gray. I was like, oh, I could like use gray. And Google was like, there is no color that opposes gray. I'm like, oh, wow. So I thought that was kind of funny. But that was just Google, so like I said, I normally have a color wheel. I just can't find my color wheel. I swear, as soon as you lose something, can I just do a little side note here? As soon as you lose something, you suddenly need it. Like that is just, I don't know what that's called, Murphy's Law or what it is. But literally, haven't used my color wheel in so long, then I'm like, oh, I need my color wheel. Can't find it. Okay, so, sorry, I've moved on to this second shape here. So basically, I'm trying to, not only am I using opposing colors, but I am sort of setting it up so the shapes are opposing each other. So hopefully this will make something that's dynamic and will make sense on the canvas. So let's just... Nice. And I do like how this, if you haven't worked with acrylic is great because I feel like you have a lot of control with it and you can get some really nice dense colors. You can see how it's really kind of coming together here. And all I'm using is the paint and some water here to dilute the color. So I'm not using whites, I'm not using blacks to mix in with it. I'm just using the straight, like the flat color from the tube itself. So we're gonna just sort of touching this up so I can get more of a uniform look on my canvas. And the color, oh, it's just nice. I love working with this one color. It's just going on the canvas really nice. And I've said this before, there is such a cool, I don't know, there's such a calming element to the physicality of making art. So not only is art sort of centering in the sense that, you know, it's coming from a form of self-expression, but just the physicality of working with the brush on the canvas really engages your mind in a different way, and it's very relaxing. One way I've sort of compared painting to is if I'm not sure if you if anyone journals out there, but journaling is a wonderful relaxing thing. I do it in the mornings. To start my day, I have a cup of coffee and I do a bit of journaling, just sort of reflecting on either the previous day or the day to come. But just writing, not with any sense of purpose, just to sort of put my collected thoughts onto paper. And I just find it really helps to relax me, but also that it's just the physical act of writing on the paper really sort of engages your headspace. in a positive way. Okay, so the next color we're using is green. I see Tyler says, oh, hey Tyler, Murphy's Law. Yes. Murphy's Law, that is, I'm very, very familiar with Murphy's Law. Okay, so this paint, it's a little gummy, but I think it's gonna work. So this one is actually a phthalo green. So I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush. So I used the bigger brush for the larger space, and now I'm going to switch to, perfect. Same deal, just a little bit smaller. So, and because we are working with such dense colors, so you can see I use this water strictly for the red, so you can see it's very, very red. So I don't want to mix the green and the red too much. Like, I don't want that too much overlap. So instead of using the same cup, I'm going to use a fresh cup of water specifically just for my green, okay? So I'm wetting the brush a bit. There we go. Pick it up on my brush. Rinse and repeat. Here we go. So again, this blue and red is definitely, I'm getting seasonal vibes. This was not purposely chosen, but I did Google the opposite of red and it said green, so 'tis the season, I guess. So I am choosing to do more geometric shapes. That's sort of, if you look up color blocking, that really is sort of, you know, one of the things that pops up a lot. That artist I mentioned before, Piet Mondrian, his style was very geometric. Some of it almost reminds me of like Art Deco from the 20s and the 30s. Lots of geometric shapes, nice, clean, sharp lines, dividing this like color blocking style. But it doesn't always have to be so geometric. You can, you know, basically color block doing, you could do a still life of like an apple. And then by simply using two colors on that apple that are like color blocked, you're sort of using that same style, but in a different form. So this isn't just the only way to do color blocking. This, I think, is just a nice sort of easier, sort of simple approach to color blocking to sort of help get you started if you've never done this before. I'm adding just a bit more green onto this. I want to be a little bit darker. And again, just simple short brush strokes to put the paint onto your canvas. You know, feel free to move the brush how you want to move the brush. This is how I choose to on the canvas. But if you like want bigger strokes, or if you want to use a fan brush, like work the canvas how you feel comfortable. Okay, here we go. Okay, now I'm going to move over to here and work on this. So I feel like I maybe added a bit too much water to my brush here, so I'm going to just use pulling paint directly from the palette right now. So hopefully make it a little bit darker. Nice. It's looking pretty much the same as the other side, so I think that, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to add a bit more green. Sometimes when you work on a bigger canvas, like this is larger. I think it's, I don't know, maybe 18 by 24, 16 by 12, I don't know. But normally when I'm working, I'm like on a canvas the size like 8 by 10. So a little bit of paint goes a long way. But on a bigger canvas, you can go through more paint a lot faster. So this green is going on nicely. Okay, so that is sort of how we approach this. So now you can see like the paint, like the tape is here. I've got the color on the canvas. The next step with this piece is I'm just going to talk for a moment, and then we're just going to peel the tape off, and you'll see this sort of effect that you can create with using color blocking and using this taping method to create the lines that we want. Okay, so yeah, color blocking, really fun. I really think it's a great, a very straightforward and different way to engage your creativity with color. I think a really great way to approach it is to think, what is my favorite color? Like when someone says, what's your favorite color? Take that color, look at the color wheel, and then work with the color that is on the opposite side. So one of my favorite colors is actually purple. You can see in the background, I'm at my art studio right now. You can see those three pieces there. Those are monochromatic pieces, but in purple, because I love purple. Okay, so now, we are now going to pull the tape off. So normally I would wait till it's like a bit drier, but just for time's sake, I'm sort of just going for it. But, oops. How precarious. Okay, that one's good. Okay, neat. So I just want to show you kind of what we've come up with. So this is just a very basic picture, a very basic abstract piece, but you can see the tape has created some really nice clean lines, and we have used, we've color blocked red and green together to create this sort of, this cool idea. So this is a great, this is an example of color blocking. So what I wanted to do was, just 1 second. So I just wanted to switch this up. So this is the red and green. It's actually funny when you work with abstract, sometimes I'll like this is how it started. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm like, but like, this is kind of better. So then I've just like flipped the canvas. But you know, yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, so that is sort of, that's the basics to color blocking. Red and green, I think this has created something really seasonal, really nice, and reminds me that Christmas, if you do celebrate or if you don't, Christmas really sort of surrounds us right now in every corner of the city right now. So this is a little tribute to that, I guess. Anyways, thank you for being here today. Thank you for tuning in. We have more videos on our Facebook. If you look through, this is acrylic painting. We have other workshops that we do on pencil drawing, still life, cooking, movement. There's a whole variety of workshops that are available. So I know that we are all in a place of lockdown right now. We're all very isolated, and I know how negative that can feel. I know those feelings that can occur because of being isolated. So I hope that you can watch along. I hope that this can sort of bring a bit of sunshine into an otherwise overcast, isolated day. But please look through our Facebook, look at our other videos. There's some really cool things, lots of funny personalities, and there's always something for everyone there. Tomorrow we're back, 1 p.m. We have another art demonstration every day. So tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, come check us out. And we are just so thankful for our arts community. We're thankful for you. We're thankful that you are taking the time to check this out. We really appreciate it. And I personally can't wait till restrictions are lifted and we can get back together and hang out and make some more art. Okay, so have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.